Hey guys, I'm Danny Clark and you are on Disney Channel. Hey guys, I'm Danny Clark. Fuck! I'm talking to 0 people, but it's fine. I'm gonna pretend like I have viewers and I'm be like, hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today we are doing a tutorial on a Nike sock tube top. If you guys like how this shirt looks, keep watching. Literally, this is my microphone. It's a freaking cube. Isn't that amazing? We love modern technology. You can buy these anywhere, from like your local Target to your local Amazon.com. This is my sewing machine. I do not recommend it. It is trash. We've had so many issues with the sewing machine, but whatever. Like, you know, it gets the work done. So I guess like that's good. I guess that's good. Yes, I sell them for a living, but person who's gonna be successful is gonna be successful without secrets. Like the only way of being successful is with giving all your secrets away. If that makes any sense. Like, I don't know, like, why does it matter if I sell these and I tell you guys how I make them? Like, if you guys can afford it, or if you guys don't live in the US and like shipping is crazy, because I know on TikTok a lot of you guys are in Europe and it's expensive. So that is why I am here today, because I am trying to help you girlies out there or boys that want this sock top and can't afford it or can't get it or whatever. All we're gonna need for today are 4 pairs of socks. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get the sock and we're gonna cut it right like at the ankle point. We're just gonna cut that in half. So we're gonna do that to all 4, like that. And keep the scraps. Never throw away the scraps, it's very important. Just keep cutting them. If you guys want a longer sock top, let me know and I will make that tutorial for you guys. But we are making short crop tops today. So as you guys can see right here, we have the 4 toeless socks. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut the side of each one. I usually put the logos facing each other, so like that's what it would look like, instead of it looking like this. We're just gonna cut it from this side. We're just gonna cut it open, and we're gonna do that to all 4 sides again. It's a tedious process, but it is super simple and it is super fun and it's just different, you know? Like, who wears a shirt made out of sock? I guess we do. As you guys can see, we have these socks flattened out. Your sock is supposed to look like this. Now what we are gonna do is we're gonna sew these together and these together. If you guys are beginners in sewing, I am too. I learned like one weekend with my grandma like 2 years ago. I mean, now I'm pretty experienced because, you know, we have a whole brand and I make like 40 sock tops like a week, and that's a lot. So I do have a lot of experience making these socky toppies. There is no tutorial on how to make these. I kind of just did it. So you guys just need to do it. So I have my white yarn over here. You guys are gonna see the dumbest thing ever. My issue is that this machine only can have like little tiny yarns and the stick is too short. So when I sew, this shit like moves like that. Okay, so you're gonna get 2 of these sock tops and you're gonna make the logos kiss each other, and the outsides should be the inside of the sock. And we are going to sew right here. The whole shirt was made with the big zigzag because I have 4 zigzags right here. I'm using the 4th one, and my settings are to 2.5, so it's in between the 2 and the 3. You just level this up as most as you can, and we're gonna sew the edges. I have bad experiences with straight stitch because it just breaks all the time. Plus, this is a very stretchy fabric, so I think zigzag is probably the best bet for what we're doing because the fabric is very stretchy. Zigzag gives us like a little flexibility. This is what it should look like. There you go, like it's basically stitched and you can't see the seam that much. Also, it's always gonna look a little weird, like there, like a little wrinkly and stuff, because it's a sock. Like, socks are weird and they're not gonna stitch perfectly. I'm gonna go ahead and double stitch it. I always do it twice because it's very fragile. I'm gonna do it twice just in case. So we just did it twice and it looks like this. Woo! So you guys can go ahead and like cut these little stringies off. Now we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing. We're just gonna repeat the same thing. It doesn't matter what side, because at the end, like, we're doing a full circle. We're just gonna sew everything. So We're gonna do the same thing on the ones we didn't just stitch, and we're gonna do it twice. Okay, I just finished, and this is what they should look like. We have 2, and now we're gonna repeat on these 2. So, logos kiss, and we stitch on the edge. Okay, so this is what it should look like. It's looking a bit long. This is what it should look like in the inside. If you know how to sew, you understand what I'm doing, but I do get the people who don't know how to sew, have never used a machine, are learning. I never understood this when I started to sew. So basically what we're just doing is like, we're sewing along the lines, so then when we open it, there's just that little extra fabric, but it looks perfect on the outside. I feel like everything's made like this. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold it again. It's gonna be inside out on both sides, and we're gonna sew along the edge. Also, always remember not to pull the fabric so much because it'll like start wrinkling up because the fabric is really stretchy. So when you're sewing, try not to pull it that much. Oh my God, you guys, I don't know if that happens to you guys. I need a normal chair because I'm like on a stool right now and I sew like this. Like my posture is dead. Like after I finish all this sewing, like I'm gonna be the Hunchback of Notre Dame, I swear to God. It should look like this. And now, voila, we have a tube top. I sound like an idiot. This is what it should look like on the outside. Honestly, it depends what you guys want, but you can wear this strapless and it looks super cute. You don't have to make the straps, but we're gonna do the straps now. Put this aside, and these scraps I told you guys not to throw out. Choose your 2 favorite scraps, they look the same. We have these 2 where your toes go. So what we're gonna do, there's so many like little fur balls flying around. So you have these 2. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna cut along the side of the whole entire sock. We're gonna like open it up. Okay, and then we're gonna do it to the other sock as well. So what you should have are these 2 and these 2. And this is what our straps are gonna be made out of. So what we're gonna do is put these on the side. We're going to just cut these edges like straight because I mean, look at that. That is just not straight at all. Perfect. It should look like this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make the pretty sides of the sock kiss, just like the logos. The outside should be the inside of the sock. We are gonna sew along this edge right here. Very quickly, we're gonna double sew because this part breaks so easily since it's the strand thing. I don't know what it's called. This is what your sock should look like. It looks like a very long pad. I'm just gonna cut like this because we don't need that, and I'm gonna cut this. I'm not like a sewer or anything. Like I feel like in YouTube tutorials, like people, like when you look at YouTube tutorials of people sewing or just like DIYs, like thrift flip, like they look like they know what they're doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like I know what I'm doing on this top because I've made a bunch, but I honestly I wing life. I wing my whole entire life. So we're gonna grab the long tampon and we're gonna fold it in the middle like this. So the pretty side of the sock is gonna kiss the inside and we have the ugly outside of the sock outside. And we're gonna sew along the edges right here. You guys can get an iron and iron it flat so it's easier. I have my iron, I need to turn it on. $16 Amazon iron right here. Trying to save money. Flat iron this because it's easier, you know? Also, I know people like pin them. I have the pins, but I hate pinning them. It's such a waste of time. Just iron it and sew it. I am not a professional sewer whatsoever, okay? I'm sorry. Don't hate me. I also should not be ironing like on my table like this. I should probably have a cloth, a towel, anything on the bottom, but like tell me why I need to do that. Like who made the rules? Tell me. Now that this long pad is flat, we're gonna sew along the edges right here. Leave a little hole right here and at the end. So start sewing like 2 inches in the bottom, like starting from the top 2 inches and then start sewing. Ooh. You guys, okay, so this sewing machine is the Singer Start. Like, it's for beginners, I'm aware. But, you know, I'm a broke 20-year-old and I can't afford more than that. And I found it on offer for $60. So I was like, okay, snatch, I'm gonna buy it and I'll just get the work done until I make more money and then buy a better one, whatever, I bought it. And I mean, it gets the work done, but it has its mind of its own. It literally chooses to break down whenever it wants. It'll like start sewing different patterns whenever it wants. Like, what? I get delusional when I sew, and like now I'm trying to make tutorials and speak to my camera while I sew. Like, Lord have mercy. I'm the #1 worst multitasker you guys will ever meet. So we just finished this thing. Now it looks very weird. Just keep it like this. Keep it to the side. Repeat on the other ones we cut. Cut again. We sew these edges. Repeat. So now it should look like this. And then cut the edges off. Make sure it's sturdy. We fold and we iron. This is what they should look like right now. They look a little bit weird. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn it inside out. I know there's an easier way. I just hit that note. I know there's an easier way to do this, but I swear to God, the only ones I've seen are with like straws or like something very complicated. So whatever, we're just gonna do it by hand. We're gonna flip it inside out without breaking the seams because the seams are very fragile. And we're gonna do this to both of them. It's a little struggle, like I'm struggling a little bit. My fingers are gonna get muscular. Look at that. So this is what it should look like. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna iron them so they get a little flat because they're very not flat. I already know how big I need it. How you guys can measure it is you put it on your shoulder. Obviously it's very stretchy, so you can see like how long you want it, and then you can either leave it like this or you can cut some off. So I usually cut off like maybe like 1.5 inches. So I literally just snip like 1.5 inches right there. And there we go. So now I'm just gonna iron both of them. It just gives it like a shape, you know? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna decide what side we want to be our front side of the shirt. So we're gonna put one square in the middle, and then we're gonna have some on the sides. So this is the front of the shirt. I'm gonna sew one here, and then I'm gonna sew one here. I sew it right there. So I'm gonna sew this inside out, obviously. This is inside out too. Like you can see the seam there. We don't wanna see that. So that will be sewed on to the inside of the shirt. This is what it should look like right there. So the next strap, I'm gonna sew it right there on this line. I'm gonna sew it on this line, and this is where my chest goes. So you guys can kind of see what I've done. This is what it should look like. So now we're just gonna do the same thing. We are gonna sew these two to the back. So now we're just gonna sew it to these on the back. When I make these type of videos, like I'm like, okay, would I understand that? And I'm like, what the fuck, I wouldn't. Like, what am I saying? Okay, so this is what it should look like. As you guys can see, we have a shirt made. So now we're gonna turn it inside out. I mean, right side out, I don't even know. I'm very proud to tell you guys that you have a sock top. The only thing we need to fix is obviously the bottom because it looks a little, it needs help. What I like to do also is I sew this, right? So in the front, like it's good, but I hate how it kind of like comes down, like the shirt kind of comes out. So what I like to do is I sew this too. I sew all of them again from the front. Like I don't turn it inside out anymore. Okay, so this is what it should look like now. This does not come out anymore. And I'm gonna do it to every single edge. Okay, I have finished. Obviously we need to cut all the little stringies out, but this is what it should look like. It looks very nice and sturdy. I don't even know what sturdy means. It just feels right. What I like to do is, first of all, I like to cut these like sharp edges from the bottoms. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut them a little. It's just extra fabric we don't need. I'm going to fold the edges a little bit and just sew along the edges while I fold it until I do the full circle. There are a lot of ways for you guys to do the bottoms. I know there's this type of stitch. I have no idea what it's called, but it's the one that just seals off the edges. This beautiful machine over here does not have that settings. So I obviously have to do it the way I do it, or you guys could just leave it like this. It really doesn't break off, but I don't think it looks that nice. So what I'm just gonna do, I'm going to fold it a little bit, like that much, and I'm gonna sew along the edges. The way I do it is probably not the way you guys should do it. I know either you can iron it and it'll be perfect, or you guys can also pin it down, but I'm anti-pins. I don't know, I just don't really like them unless it's like very necessary. So I literally just grab one of these like creases right here in the shirts, like from the bottom, and I fold it because that's the most difficult part for the sewing machine to go over. Like I fold it like that. And I put it in my sewing machine because it's thicky. It's super bulky. And I just lower it on it so it holds it. And while I sew, I'm just folding it like by myself. I haven't changed the settings until now of the sewing machine. Now for the edge, we kind of want to do like a ruffle look, and that means it's like ruffly, like it goes like that literally. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to 1.5 instead of 2.5. And we're still gonna do zigzag stitch. You know how I told you guys to never pull on the fabric because it's stretchy? Now we're gonna pull on it, like a lot, because it'll create the little like ruffly look. I am pulling while sewing, and I'm just gonna keep going until I finish the shirt. Okay, babies, I just finished the shirt, and this is what it should look like. This is what I meant by ruffles on the bottom, and it looks super cute and like, ah. I'm gonna go try it on so I can show you guys what it looks like on, and I'll be right back. You can literally see my nipples. I'm sorry, might blur that out, might not. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It looks very cute. Look at that. Look at that. It's because there is a lot of harsh lighting on me that you can literally see my nipples, but you guys can wear sticky boobs. You guys can wear a white bralette, or you guys can even sew on like a white fabric on the bottom. Okay, I just put on sticky boobs because I didn't want YouTube to take this video down because you could literally see my nipples, and I'm also nipping because it's fucking cold in this house. If you guys really like this video, please subscribe. Keep subscribing, because if you guys subscribe, I will make more tutorials. I have so many tutorials to make. I will be posting videos on this channel frequently. If you guys want to get creative, you can tie-dye it. I'm literally here to show you guys all the types of shirts I've made. I've made a blue tie-dye. It is very cute. I also make like the black and white ones. They look very fun. People really like them. I also made a gray polo. And I made this one that is backless. This one is so much fun. It is my favorite. I'm gonna be making a tutorial for this one soon, so subscribe to see that. If you guys are not down to sew these shirts and just want to buy it, you guys can get them on our Depop. This is Peachtree, and I love you guys. See you guys in the next video. Goodbye.